Good day everyone. I'm Teacher Sean, and today we're going to discuss the different instructional model that we can use as a future educator. In this discussion, we're going to focus on these three instructional model, which is the ADDIE model, Merrill's principle of instruction, and lastly, the Bloom's taxonomy. So, the first instructional model that we're going to discuss is the ADDIE model. In this model, we're going to tackle the different phases, which is the analysis phase, design phase, development, implementation, and evaluation phase. And also, we're going to discuss the importance of ADDIE model. ADDIE model is a widely used instructional design framework that stands for analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation, providing a systematic approach to creating effective training and learning programs. This model is important in instructional design because it provides a structured, systematic approach to creating effective learning experiences, ensuring all critical aspects are addressed and leading to better quality and engagement. ADDIE model has 5 phases, which is the analysis phase, the design phase, the development phase, the implementation phase, and lastly, the evaluation phase. But we're going to tackle each phases individually. Analysis phase. The analysis phase involves thoroughly understanding the problem, the target audience, and the learning environment to establish a clear learning objectives and also a measurable outcome. The next phase is the design phase. Instructional designers translate analysis findings into a learning blueprint, outlining objectives, content structure, instructional strategies, and assessment methods to create a relevant and engaging training program. The third one is the development phase. Creating and assembling the instructional materials and learning experiences outlined in the design phase, including writing content, designing graphics, and potentially developing or integrating technologies for learning. The fourth one is the implementation phase. It is where the designed and developed training program is actually delivered to the learners, involving course launch, learning orientation, and ongoing feedback collection and refinement. The next one is the evaluation phase. It assesses the effectiveness of the instructional program. It encompasses both formative and summative evaluation to ensure learning objectives are met and for continuous improvement. ADDIE helps to identify the learning needs of the child in a structured way and ensures all learning activities serve that goal, which offers an integrated approach to learning. It also guides measuring learning effectiveness because job behaviors, knowledge, and skills are clearly defined within the framework. The next model is the Merrill's principle of instruction. In this model, we're going to tackle the 5 principles of instruction, which is the problem-centered, activation, demonstration, application, and lastly, the integration principle. Merrill's first principle of instruction is an instructional design framework developed by David Merrill. It provides a set of guidelines and principles for creating effective and learner-centered instructional experiences. Merrill's principles of instruction are crucial for creating effective and engaging learning experiences by focusing on problem solving, learner activation, demonstration, application, and integration, ultimately enhancing knowledge, retention, and real-world application. This MPI has 5 different principles, which is the problem or task-centered, the activation, demonstration, application, and lastly, the integration. But first, let's focus on the problem or task-centered principle. So, it emphasizes designing instruction around authentic, real-world problems that learners are likely to encounter. This principle encourages learners to actively engage in problem-solving activities, fostering their critical thinking and problem-solving skills. So the next one is activation. This principle focuses on engaging learners' prior knowledge and experiences to create a foundation for new learning. It involves stimulating learners' curiosity, presenting real-world examples, and connecting new information to their existing knowledge. Next is demonstration. So, this principle emphasizing providing clear models or examples that illustrates the desired learning outcomes. Demonstrations can be in the form of expert performance, simulation, or case studies. The next one is the application. So, application emphasizes on providing opportunities for learners to practice and apply their knowledge and skills in authentic contexts. It involves activities that require learners to actively apply what they have learned, solve problems, make decisions, and engage in realistic tasks. The next one is integration. So, it focuses on promoting transfer of knowledge and skills to new situations. It involves providing opportunities for learners to connect their learning to real-world contexts and apply it in a meaningful ways. The framework promotes engagement, activate participation, and development of meaningful and transferable knowledge and skills. So it also provides a solid foundation for creating effective instructional materials, activities, and assessments that supports deep, meaningful learning experience. So the next is the Bloom's taxonomy. So in this model, we're going to tackle the 6 levels of cognitive domain, and also we're going to understand the importance of Bloom's taxonomy and how can we apply it in teaching. So, Bloom's taxonomy is a model that describes the cognitive processes of learning and developing mastery of subjects. It is named after Benjamin Bloom, a researcher and head of the original committee of researchers and educators who developed the original taxonomy throughout the 1950s to 1960s. So, Bloom's taxonomy. So, we have here the 6 levels of cognitive domain, which is the remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So, these are the 6 levels of domain. First is remember. So, it is a foundational level focusing on recalling and retrieving basic knowledge, facts, and concepts. It involves activities like memorization and simple fact recall, forming the basis for higher level cognitive skills. The second one is understand. Is the second level of cognitive learning where learners demonstrate comprehension by explaining, interpreting, classifying, summarizing, inferring, comparing, and explaining ideas or concepts. The next one is apply. This refers to the ability to use learned materials in new and concrete situations, requiring a higher level of understanding than comprehension. This level involves demonstrating knowledge by solving problems, creating projects, and applying concepts to real-world scenarios. The next one is analyze. Is the fourth level where learners break down information into its components and identify relationships between parts, requiring a higher level and cognitive processing than comprehension or application. And the next one is the evaluate. This represents the highest level of cognitive learning, where learners make judgments and assess the value of ideas, materials, or methods based on specific criteria, requiring a critical thinking and reasoned decision making. The next one is create. So, creating involves putting elements together to form a coherent and functional whole. Creating includes the reorganizing elements into new pattern or structure through planning. This is the highest and the most advanced level of the Bloom's taxonomy. So Bloom's taxonomy is important because it provides a framework for educators to design effective learning experiences and assessments, moving students from basic knowledge to recall higher order thinking skills like analysis, evaluation, and creation. So that is all for our discussion, and I hope that you learned something. Thank you so much and have a great day.